Somewhere out there, a family with a brand new baby just left $1,000 sitting on the table. Not because they needed convincing, because nobody told them it existed. I'm Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Let me explain what I'm talking about, because this one is brand new and it's already confusing a lot of people. Back on July 4th, 2025, Congress passed a big tax law. Inside that law was something called a Trump account. Stick with me here. This is not political. It's the legal name, plain and simple. The same way we don't argue about the name 401k. A Trump account is basically a retirement account for a kid, not a piggy bank, not a savings account at the local bank. It's a special version of a traditional IRA built for children under 18. Here's the part that gets people excited. If your child was born between January 1, 2025 and December 31, 2028, is a U.S. citizen and has a social security number, the federal government will put $1,000 into that account. One time, no strings attached on the money itself. Now, here's something I need to clear up because I hear this mistake constantly. This is not just a baby account. It's not limited to children born after 2025. Any child under 18 with a social security number can have a Trump account opened for them. Whether they're 2 years old or 15 years old, the 2025 through 2028 birth window only control who gets that free $1,000 seed from the government. If your child was born outside that window, they simply don't qualify for the seed money. But the account itself is still theirs to open. Family and friends can still add private money up to that same $5,000 a year cap, and it still grows tax deferred inside those low-cost index funds until they turn 18. So if your kids are already in elementary school or even high school, do not tune out. This still applies to your family. But here's the catch on the $1,000, and it's the single most important thing in this whole story. That money is not automatic. Nobody's mailing you a check. You have to ask for it. You have to claim it and open the account itself by filing a form with the IRS called Form 4547. Takes about 10 minutes online through your IRS account. No form, no account, no $1,000. I want you to hear that twice because I've already had people tell me the government just does this automatically. It does not. No form, no account, no $1,000. Once the account is open, family can add up money too, up to $5,000 a year combined from everybody. Parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, family, friends. Even your employer can kick in up to $2,500 a year, tax-free to you. More than 84 employers, foundations, and states have already pledged to help fund these accounts. So here's a homework assignment. Ask your HR department if your company offers a Trump account contribution program. If they don't, ask them why not. Now, where does the money go? By law, it has to sit in a low-cost index fund that tracks something like the S&P 500. No stock picking, no crypto, no individual bets, and the fees are capped by law at 0.1% a year. That's about $1 a year for every $1,000 invested. That's about as cheap as investing gets. Here's the trade-off. The money is locked from the day the account opens until January 1 of the year your child turns 18. Nobody can touch it. Not for an emergency, not for a medical bill, not for anything. With a couple narrow exceptions. So don't confuse this with an emergency fund. It isn't one. When your child turns 18, the account behaves like a regular IRA. They can leave it alone and let it keep growing, which is usually the smart move. Or they can take money out, and here's where the tax rules get interesting. Any money your family put in after tax comes back out tax-free. But the government's $1,000 or any employer money and all the growth that comes out is a single taxable income. That comes out as regular taxable income. And if they pull it out before age 59 and a half, there's usually a 10% penalty on top. Though Congress carved out exceptions for things like a first home purchase or college costs. Let's talk numbers for a second, because this is where it gets fun. If that $1,000 seed just sits there doing nothing else, growing at a historical stock market average, it could be worth somewhere between $2,400 and $5,600 by the time your child turns 18, depending on the returns. Add just $1,000 a year on top of that seed every year from birth through age 17, and you're looking at somewhere between $32,000 and $56,000 by age 18. Max it out at $5,000 a year, and you're talking about $150,000 to $256,000. That's real money, and your child hasn't worked a single day for it. Now, remember, there are certain foundations right now that are giving money as well. In the book that we're putting out, or the white paper we're putting out, it talks about one very generous family giving $6.25 billion to families across the country that does not have to be born in that same date. Now, I want to be straight with you. This is not a replacement for a 529 plan if college is your main goal. A 529 still wins for education because those withdrawals come out completely tax-free. This is a different tool built more for long-term wealth, closer to retirement head start than a college fund. Most families I talk to will end up using more than one account, a 529 for school and a Trump account for the bigger, longer picture. One more thing before I move on. There is no fee to open this account, no fee to claim the $1,000. If anybody calls you, texts you, or emails you asking for your child's social security number and a processing fee, that's not the government, that's a scammer. Hang up. So what does this mean for you? If you've got a child under 18, you can open this account today, private contributions and all. If your child happens to be born in 2025 or later, filing that same form also claims the free $1,000. Either way, that form is probably worth 10 minutes of your Saturday morning. Free money doesn't show up very often in this business. When it does, you take it. If you want the full breakdown, every rule, every tax wrinkle, the contribution limits, all of it laid out in plain English, I put together a detailed ebook on exactly this topic. It's free, and you can grab it at rsrlinks.com/Trump account. rsrlinks.com/Trump account. Now, here's the bigger question, and it's the one I really want you to think about. A Trump account, a 529, a Roth IRA, a mortgage, a HELOC, every one of those is a tool. A family that collects tools without a strategy just ends up with a drawer full of tools and no house built. That's the whole idea behind the book I co-authored, What is Liability Management and Why Work with a Certified Liability Advisor. It walks through how all these pieces, savings, debt, insurance, and taxes fit together in one household strategy instead of a separate pile of decisions. You can find it at rsrlinks.com/WHYCLA, rsrlinks.com/WHYCLA. I'm Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor. Thanks for listening to this workshop, Mortgage 101, brought to you by rsrloans.com, rsrloans.com.